You wrote this fantastic piece a few years back called "Skin in the Game," which was the first time. If you haven't read it, it's fantastic. It was the first time that I'd seen kind of like the breakdown of how the white nationalist movement at its core has this everlasting anti-Semitic demon that just lives in it, and how it just kind of permeates throughout all of the rest of the racism, right? It's like just kind of it's just at its theoretical center is hating this nebulous term of the Jew, and I'd never seen that before. It's just kind of like how it was broken down. Can you like go into more about where anti-Semitism actually fits into fights against anti-blackness and racism?
I mean, anti-Semitism has been around the United States, but this particular form of anti-Semitism starts in the 1960s, right?
Yeah.
And it's because white supremacy gets its ass kicked, right, by my grandparents and others out here who struggle. And so imagine, though, you believe black people are inferior. Mm-hmm. You're never going to accept that you lost to black people, right? And so particularly your most significant political defeat. So you have to come up with another theory. And they borrowed from Europe, and they borrowed from the anti-Semitic writings of Henry Ford, and they re-scripted a narrative, right? Yeah. That allowed them to hold that white superiority in place. And what they said is, we didn't lose the black people, right? Because that's impossible in their eyes. They lost to Jews. And so Jews became like the nefarious center for like every wrong, right? A one-stop shop, right? Jews as communists, Jews as capitalists, right? Mm-hmm. Jews as this and that. But it's a constructed narrative that like simplifies, right? And others, it creates this side or that side, right? It doesn't speak to any answers. I mean, the truth is, right? The civil rights movement has delivered, and I was about to drop an F-bomb, I'm not.
Feel free.
We're among
we'll
friends.
Get there. It's early. But the civil rights movement, right, has delivered more for white people in America than the white nationalist movement or white supremacy ever has, right? Except the illusion, right, of being something better. And so the truth is, right, the white nationalist movement has to blame someone. Yeah. And it's never going to be marginalized communities. Thus, anti-Semitism. And it's why we have to take anti-Semitism seriously. It doesn't just kill Jews, it kills us too.
Damn.
It's like incredibly anti-black also to be like, no, the civil rights movement didn't do it. It had to be somebody else.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't African Americans on their own, like taking time off of work, struggling, putting their bodies in line, dying. It was somebody else. What do you mean? I think maybe some people take that for granted. What you mean that the civil rights movement did more for white people? Obviously
affirmative action.
I think, yeah.
Right. Welfare programs. Right. The Great Society. Yeah. Right. Folks forget there. There was this back in. Now I'm old. Right. I'm gonna date myself. Like soon I'm gonna start talking about Nirvana concerts. But
glad it's not me.
Back in the 90s, there was affirmative action. A bill to kill affirmative action. It was a ballot initiative. And white folks came out en masse and overturned affirmative action in Washington state. But here's the secret, right? White people benefited from affirmative action more than any other grouping in Washington state. Why? They're the majority of veterans, the majority of people over the age of 55, right? Majority of people with disabilities, right? And those are the folks who are discriminated against in employment, right? Yeah. So the civil rights movement has delivered lots of things for white folks, but that's not a convenient organizing, right? When you are trying to like hold on to inequality. You have to tell white people they're losing. They're not losing. They're getting the best of a world. They're getting to be human. That's what it means, right? To live in an inclusive democracy.
Yeah.
Damn. Solid.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.